I'm not one of those women who thinks that men should pay for everything. Like, don't get it twisted. I like me a provider, and I like a man who is generous and puts the bill. Okay? Hey guys.
Hey.
Welcome back to our channels. So I'm Fabian
And I'm Rochelle. Our handles are mine is Doses of Shell.
and mine is Fabian Dion.
Yes, and we're friends, and we just decided to kind of do a chit chat, mukbang,
Pretty much.
you know, whatever this
Situation.
is, situation. This is a completely different video for the both of us. We both have individual channels, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the both of us. This will be on both of our channels,
Right.
so we'll be sure to include each other's handles.
So we're just gonna get into the topics. We ended up getting crab legs from one of the basically crab spots we like going to, Submarine Crabs. So if you're in South Florida, Submarine Crabs. So we're just gonna do that, and we also got our bellinis or mimosas. Cheers. We're just gonna get into the talking. Let me put this one.
Yes, this thing wasn't even supposed to come off of it. All right, guys.
Alrighty.
Now that we've, gone through that struggle, I'm gonna take a quick drink of my drinky drink.
I'm screaming. No, seriously. Cheers.
Because that was a lot.
Why did they make a struggle?
All right.
So it tastes good. Okay, let's test out the food.
Yes, let's definitely test out the food. First things first.
Hello. You feel like yours is spicy?
Yeah, they made both spicy.
Okay.
They're idiots. But I guess they had no choice.
Yeah.
I couldn't have made it extra spicy.
Not if you're gonna put it together.
Just ridiculous. Anyways.
So one of the first topics we wanted to talk about is dating now versus then, or then versus now.
Yeah, now that we're in our 30s, so if you didn't know, we're both 30 and not newly in our 30s, but we're 30.
That means newly in our 30s.
We're closer to 31, guys.
She is.
But we just kind of wanted to talk about it because obviously now we're in completely different stages of our lives.
Right.
We have careers now, we're more mature, and we see things much differently than we did when we were in college and high school. So, yeah. How you want to start this thing off?
So for me, I feel like one of the biggest differences with dating now versus then is like, now I'm more serious. Like before, I feel like I used to just waste my time, and not in a bad way, like the guy was terrible or anything like that, but I wasn't concerned about getting married or like if this person was gonna be a family man or whatever. It was just like, oh, it's a good time, we're having fun, like we can go on trips together, we're hanging out, we get along. Now I feel like if I know that I'm not gonna be serious about this guy, like I don't see a future with them, I wouldn't even bother like pursuing the relationship.
Right. I kind of feel like the same way. You know, I have to scratch it. I also kind of agree, but I just kind of feel like, I don't know, I think it kind of ties into the society things because we're much older now. I kind of feel like we're not even given the opportunity, because like you said, you weren't necessarily wasting time.
Yeah.
But like you're not even given the opportunity, like I feel like everything has to be marriage, and like so sometimes that can kind of lead to rushing down things because we're in our 30s now, so we don't have that time to kind of date people for a while before deciding if marriage is what we want or if we're just having fun.
No, I think you could do, like, don't get me wrong, when I say having fun, I'm not just like letting loose or whatever. Like I feel like you can date. I think with me it's more so like when I say like Because you could date somebody for 3 months and then like be like, oh, I think I could see something like potential with them or whatever. Like it going far. So I feel like you still have time. I think it's just more so like
much less
the
time.
seriousness.
Yeah.
Like the seriousness of it. Like if you're not trying to be serious, take it to the playground. Like don't even bother me. Do not be in my face. Like I don't have the time. Versus back then it would be like I wasn't even worried about that. But also, like you said, society wasn't putting that pressure on, you know, 20-something-year-old to be like, you gotta be married, where's your kid, and stuff like that. So
right.
So yeah.
I agree. But I feel like
I had fun.
Yeah, I guess I kind of look at it a little differently because I actually was in a relationship. So I wasn't always having fun, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of feel like, for me personally, I feel like now that I'm 30, it's kind of like, and this kind of ties into another topic we want to touch on. Now it's kind of like, I feel like I have to rush into getting more serious in things because I'm trying to have children, and I do. Marriage is important to me, so marriage is something that has to come first. So I feel like just that alone, because I always kind of feel like I was dating with a marriage mindset. I don't think I ever was like the type to just be having fun. Yeah. But I feel like now it's like, even though I was always serious, now it's kind of like you have to really be serious. And it's so hard because the pool is much smaller. Correct. When we were in our 20s, you could date anybody. We were all broke. Literally. We were all broke. We didn't have nothing. Nothing going for ourselves. We're all just young and trying to figure it out. Right. Now it's much different now because we're trying to get houses. We're trying to, the person that you choose now is going to affect your future. Exactly. Yeah. So really, that's the main thing about it. Someone can always affect your future, but when you're much younger, you're not really thinking about these things. Right.
Because honestly, the person you marry or even you become serious with, they really can change the trajectory of your life. So if you get someone who is, I don't want to really say below your caliber to sound elitist, but below your caliber, you literally will have to spend the relationship trying to lift them up to at least where you are versus you guys elevating together. Right. So whether that is not just even financially, but spiritually, if that's their mentality on certain things. So, and of course it's not like there's a perfect person or just because I'm saying I'm elevated or whatever, someone can't better me, but you guys both should be able to elevate each other and you're just not the one person picking somebody up in a relationship.
Agreed, 1000%. I feel like no matter what stage you're in life, right, it should never be that case. Because while you're younger, it could be a situation where y'all are both broke in the same situation, but at the same time, you always want to be with someone who has the same kind of mindset as you and the same goals and values. If y'all are both broke now, but that person intends on always being broke or they don't have a plan for themselves, they can still bring you down, even if you're dating them at 20. Right. So... But yeah, it's definitely challenging, and I feel like single women are oftentimes in a better off position than a lot of these single men. So I feel like maybe because women typically weren't the workers and all of that thing, but I just kind of feel like now we're doing all the things that men are doing, so it kind of makes it it's even harder because our pool is we're closing our own pool due to our success and the things that we have going on. Right.
So, and I was even telling Rochelle that about dating during our parents' generation versus dating now too. During our parents' generation, I feel like there were more people who were serious, trying to be serious, being in serious relationships, trying to get married. Versus now, I think our generation is more comfortable with situationships, or we could live together but we're not serious about each other. We could have kids together but we're not serious about each other. That type of thing. So
yeah, I agree. I feel like, and it wasn't everybody in our parents' generation because those people were playing games as well. Right. But I don't know, even I feel like something that's I don't know if this has always been a thing, but something that I've noticed is very excessive these days in our generation is like the idea that, for instance, marriage is a lesser commitment than having a kid.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
A lot of people have kids, and many of us are not. Well, we don't got kids, so I can't say us, but many of these people in our generation aren't married, but they're very willing to have children outside of marriages.
Right.
Well, that's another challenge. Because I don't want that. So
and this is not to say like marriage is the end all be all, but if someone isn't willing to marry you and show you that commitment when you want to be married, if you want to be married, because not everyone does.
Right.
But if you're a person who wants to be married and that person is not willing to give you that type of commitment, I don't think it is in your best interest to continue and to also have a child with them. Because like you said, then you're really locked in forever.
Right.
So yeah, for me, I need that paperwork.
Completely.
If I have your kid, I need that paperwork, okay?
So it's safe to say you also agree that marriage is a lesser commitment than a kid.
For sure. If we don't have a kid and I decide today that I want to divorce you, I never have to speak to you again. I can act like you're dead to me.
Literally.
Honestly and truly.
Literally. And it's not even a money thing, because whether you marry the person or have a kid with that person, you're about to have to give them money anyways. So I just don't understand, because I feel like some people talk about that, like, oh, alimony, like if we leave, you're taking all of you're taking my half, you're taking my money. Like, but if you leave, you're paying child support for 18 years.
Right.
So you still got to pay the money regardless. So I don't understand how it's a lesser commitment.
And you literally, if you're trying to be a good parent, going to have to see this person very often, even after 18. A lot of people even think like 18. Our parents are still our parents to this day. Literally. Like my mom literally is still mothering me every chance she gets. Like the day you decide to be a mom, you're gonna be a mom until you die, if you want to be a good mom. So it's just crazy to me that people think that, oh, because marriage, you legally have to, get that paperwork. It's such a big commitment, which it is a big commitment, don't get me wrong, but having a kid is way bigger.
Way bigger. I'm 30 and my parents still have to communicate sometimes when it comes to myself and my siblings. When I graduated from law school, my parents were there.
Right. So
we all drove up together. We go to dinners together. We have parties together.
Right.
So whether you hate this person or don't love this person, they're going to be in your life. So
for life.
Might as well go the marriage route, because
at
least I feel like there's thought put into marriage. I feel like the people who are having kids are not thinking about it.
It's just
they're
happening.
Just doing the actions to have the kids, and then the kids come and they're thinking about it after the fact.
Right.
So that's the thing. So that even combats the whole, people be saying like, well, if y'all get a divorce, you're going to be a single mom or a single dad anyways.
Right. And I'm like, aside from that, like, people don't go into marriage thinking that they're going to be a single parent. Sometimes, or I would even say oftentimes now, a lot of women especially know that they're going to end up being a single parent, like during their pregnancy. And it's all because like you probably knew that this man was really not trying to commit to you for real.
There was probably no commitment to begin with.
Exactly. So that's my opinion on that.
That's my opinion too, and especially as a woman, I feel like men might have a different perspective, and it's easier for them to have a different perspective because they're not the ones that are actually carrying the kid. But for me personally, childbirth is not a simple thing, I'm not willing to risk my life for somebody who doesn't even care about me.
No, for real.
And if they don't care about you, they definitely most times won't care about the kids.
Facts. So super important.
Yeah. So I'd rather take my chances of becoming a single mom rather than signing up to be a single mom.
Right.
Out of fear of whether I get a divorce and still will be a single mom.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I think dating now has just become so complicated too, also because of like social media, and a lot of people are getting their like ideas of what a relationship should be off of social media, like
specifically these podcasts. My God.
Yes, like I'm not one of those women who thinks that men should pay for everything. Like, don't get it twisted. I like me a provider, and I like a man who is generous and puts the bill. Okay. But I I don't think he has to always pay for my hair, my nails, my this, my that. Like some things, like I feel like people are being outrageous about, especially if you're a person who isn't a high earner. You kind of can't demand what you can't do for yourself, if that makes sense.
Right.
For me.
Right.
So.
And I mean, I think you can, but within reason. Like, if you make, I don't know, $20,000 a year, you should not be expecting someone to come in your life and be spending $20,000 on you.
Right. Right.
Especially if that's not, if you meet somebody with that kind of means, that's different.
Right, and they want to do that?
Yes.
Cool. But I don't think you should be expecting a man to come and spend your salary. Spend your salary literally on you, and you yourself, you can't provide yourself that life. So you'll have like women on the podcast too, like, oh no, my man has to pay for this, that, and the third, but they themselves can't keep up with that lifestyle.
Right.
And in the same turn, you'll have men get on podcasts, a woman should cook, clean, this, that, the third, can't change your tire, can't literally go and get your car washed and all that other stuff, can't come and do some housework and fix whatever's broken in the house. Like, if you want someone who is traditional, you in turn have to also be traditional, in my opinion.
Agreed. And I feel like it kind of goes both ways. I feel like women, to a certain extent, want the traditional, the men to be in the traditional role, but they don't want to do the traditional things. And I feel like men also are doing the same thing. Like, if you want your woman to go out and work as hard as you work, that means that y'all are divvying up everything else.
Correct.
I am not going home to cook and clean every day if I have to work.
Correct. If I have to work every day, and we have to split these bills 50-50, everything is 50-50.
Right.
So, I definitely agree with that. You're so right. And you're right. There are women who are like, I want him to pay for everything, but don't want to cook and clean anymore. Like, yeah, if you want a traditional person, like I said, it goes both ways. You yourself have to be traditional. So if my man is like, I want you to stay at home, I'll pay all the bills. I'm staying at home. And I will cook and clean, okay? But if I have to go out and work, because I mean, in today's economy, I get it. I'm not about to do that every single day. Like, I'm still gonna do it, of course, but it's not gonna be an everyday thing.
And honestly, that's a job within itself.
Right. It is. It really is.
Which is why I feel like traditionally men work and women stayed at home. If it was supposed to be that women do everything,
then we wouldn't need men.
Exactly.
Because imagine, if you could do all of these things by yourself, work, pay bills, cook, clean, all the household activities, taking care of the kids, everything, what is the point of the spouse?
Right. I feel like men and women have different
roles,
different mindsets. Our minds don't work the same.
Right.
I could see this house and realize the things that are needed in it. A man is just gonna see the house. So that is the difference. Versus a man can see a problem that needs to be fixed, and I only see the problem. I don't see the solution.
Right.
So in different circumstances, the man is better equipped, and others, the woman is better equipped. So that's why you need the joint unit.
Right.
But I don't know. But I also feel like, so do you feel like because you're like, as a single person and we're doing all of these things, that also makes it harder to date?
It does, because I'm now, that's what kind of brings me back to my first point of, now, I don't even date for real, because I'm either always so busy, I'm doing so many things, I'm having a blast, like I travel, by myself, I'll do hobbies, I'll enjoy all these life experiences. So if a person is not adding to my life, it's almost like, why am I doing this? Because relationships take work. Like, people will see their relationships and think that, oh my gosh, it's so cute, vacation together, matching outfits, rat-tat-tat. Relationships take work, even if it's a good relationship. Like, you still are figuring each other out, you're still doing a lot of the legwork. So why am I gonna be adding that on? And it's not even like a partner who's worth all of that. And I can still be living life, enjoying life right now.
Right.
So yeah, so for me, I think it makes it harder because like, I could just be living life by myself.
That's how I feel. Honestly, I just feel like if somebody, like if I'm gonna date somebody at this point of time, if they can't do something to make my life easier, I don't want them.
Right.
Because I can literally do everything.
Literally.
I'm literally doing everything.
Right.
And I hate it. Guys, we're doing everything, honestly.
Literally.
And that's fine because we're not married.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that this is what comes with the territory. But at the same time, to go to Fable's point, if we're gonna get with someone and be in this same exact predicament,
right?
What is the point?
What's the point?
I'm not working this hard because I want to.
What's the point?
I gotta pay the bills.
Literally. And it's so crazy now because I'll see girls on TikTok and they're posting like texts from men or like from dating apps and stuff. And I'm just like, dang, it's so hard out here right now. Like,
it's so hard.
It's a sassy apocalypse.
Oh God. Oh God. Don't get me started.
Like literally, it's just so crazy to me because it's just like, I don't know, like it's just not the men of yesteryear, or again, because I'm probably maturing.
Oh yeah.
It's just limiting like the type of men I'm finding like attractive. Not even just look wise, but
even the conversation.
The conversations.
Like, I could talk to someone and like just from our conversation, I'm just like, they don't even have to be saying anything that's actually wrong, like the words that they're saying, but you could just get their mindset and just realize that y'all don't even have the same thought process. Like some people's brains, I don't know, girl. We're all wired differently.
Yeah.
In some of y'all brains.
And then it's crazy because the men who do then, let's say, are up to your standards or whatever, that doesn't mean that you guys are going to be compatible.
Exactly.
So then that also limits the pool that you have.
Or they're not even like, I don't want to say type, but like, for instance, ideally, I would like to get married to a black man.
Right.
So if I know I want to get married to a black man, I gotta date black men.
Right.
So that already cuts it down right there because
exactly.
I'm limiting out other races.
Right.
And I'm not limiting them out, but like, ideally, preferably, I want a black. I'm black. I want a black man. We love you, Black King. I feel like there's a lot. Our age goes into it.
Right.
Our mindsets, because not everybody even thinks that you should get married or the things that we think.
Right. Because that's another thing. What if you meet someone who you really like and he's like, marriage, I don't really believe in marriage.
I can't date nobody who says that.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think I could date somebody who said that. And at this age, I don't think I could date somebody who says they're not ready for marriage right now.
Right.
Because I'm not ready for a marriage today, but I would want to date somebody who that's in the back of both of our minds.
Right.
So, yeah, if somebody, how would I even like them?
I don't know because, okay.
I feel like they'd probably be a liar and not tell you that in the beginning.
I don't know. No, there was actually, if you guys know John Cena, he was dating one of those,
who is that again? He's a
wrestler.
Wrestler? Oh.
And he was dating the wrestler twin. She's a twin. I forgot her name. But you guys probably know who I'm talking about. I think her name is Bella. Or the sister's Bella, one of them. And Bella really wanted to get married. She really wanted to get married. She really wanted to have children. And for John, he was adamant, like, I don't want to get married. Well, I think he ended up proposing to her down the line, but I felt like it was a hush-she ring.
We don't want those.
Which we don't want. But he let her know, like, we're actually never having children for real. So she just kept battling with herself because she was in love with him. They were really compatible. But he wasn't going to give her one of the things that was, like, really high on her list to, like, you know, for what makes life worth it. So I agree. I feel like right now marriage is a big thing for me. So if a person said that they weren't trying to get married, I'd have to cut you off.
Yeah, you just gotta cut them off.
You really do.
The longer, if you're gonna date them, that's what's gonna happen. Like, yeah.
So definitely. And then for me, I'm not big on the kid thing myself. Like, I'm still like, it's still up in the air for me, but it's not like a deal breaker. But if that was something that was extremely important to me, I wouldn't settle on that either. Like, certain things you just don't settle on.
Yeah, no. I have, no.
So, yeah.
I wouldn't say I have to have a kid, but that needs to be a decision. If I'm not going to have a kid at Easter, it's going to mean that I don't get married in time to have a kid.
Yeah.
Or I cannot physically have kids. But
yeah,
I definitely think I don't think anybody should be with anybody who, if you want children and they don't want children, that's a recipe for disaster.
Correct. Same thing with marriage.
And then just imagine, I feel like most times those people end up with somebody else and then they have kids and now you're sick.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you're sick. So, yeah, no. We're not doing that.
100%. I gotta let it go. I have to let it go. So, but that's also another thing. I feel like in this dating age, people don't know when to let it go. Like, it's hard for people, especially if they built like a relationship with a person, to end things. Finish our quick little intermission. We had to change our gloves and some equipment things or whatever. But yeah, basically what we were just talking about, or what I was basically stating, is like another issue is like not knowing when to leave, and not knowing when like your time is up, basically. So oftentimes I feel like, especially women, like knowing that the relationship is not for them, like whether the man is treating them like badly or whatever, not knowing that this is their time to bow out gracefully. And when you stay in situations that aren't benefiting you, basically, it only hurts you in the longer term. So I don't know. I just think that once you see that this person is not for you or treating you correctly, get out there.
Yeah, but I feel like probably in those situations, by the time they feel like they're at that point where they know they need to let go, there's so much emotions involved, so many emotions involved. So, but I feel like that also kind of goes into people ignore red flags.
Yeah, for sure.
But and then by the time the red flag pops up again, it's too late.
Right.
So I feel like that's probably what it is. Because like a red flag, if you want to get married, is definitely I don't want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
So she calls that on herself.
She did. Like when he said that, she should have ran for the hills.
I would have been out of there.
But she stuck it out. Fell in love with him.
Was he a celebrity at the time?
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Probably. Well, that's not why. Yeah. But that probably.
Even still to this day, because I recently saw a clip of him in Club Shay Shay. With Shayna. He was on Club Shay Shay, girl, and saying like, and he still doesn't have kids, and was like, no, he made a conscious effort to not have kids.
So is he with that woman still?
No, they're not together anymore.
Oh. Dang, and they never had kids. How long were they together?
They're together for a long time.
Okay, you see, and these men could not have kids if they don't want kids. Because how old is that man? Old enough.
Yeah. Definitely crazy.
In other news.
Our next topic.
So, you want to talk about, we could get off of societal pressures, or you want to touch on that?
We can.
So yeah, so in other news, kind of moving from that topic, another thing that we kind of wanted to talk about that kind of feeds into this, like dating in your 30s, is like now we're fighting also against the societal pressures. So I feel like that kind of, it does go in with what we were talking about, because not only is it different now because we're dating with our own individual mindsets that have grown over the years, but now when you're 20, nobody's coming to you saying, when are you gonna get married?
When are you gonna have a baby?
When are you gonna have a baby? But I feel like now that we're in our 30s, that's like the question.
Right.
If you're in a relationship, or if you're married, it's when you're gonna have kids. And in our case, where we're not married, is when are we gonna get married to have them kids?
Right.
So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I feel away because I feel like people do too much. Like,
well, for one, do people even say that to you?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because all my friends are getting married or married. Not all, but you know what I mean. Most of them. Like a lot of my friends are married, getting married in a serious relationship with children, what have you. So even my mom, her scene, because I just went to one of my close friends' wedding, South Africa. Shameless plug. You see the South Africa vlog, but
It'll be in the.
it'll be there.
The bio.
But yeah, like
box.
she's one of my close friends who my mom knows and everything like that. So she's just over here like, all your friends are like getting married, engaged, like, oh my gosh, like we need to do something. Like I'm just waiting for your time. Like so she puts a lot.
We need to do something. Literally, what y'all gonna do?
Like we need to do something. I need to start praying harder for you. Like I want to be alive to see my grandchildren.
Oh God.
Literally, like she will say stuff like that, and I just be like, relax. Like
mind you, we're only 30 and our parents are not that old.
Exactly. So I'm always just like relax. So I feel a way about it because it's just like, number one, it's not like we have control over it.
Literally.
It's not like we have control over it.
I've
like,
been married.
Okay. Well, I probably wouldn't have been married because I'm still like, okay, but I would have been with the love of my life right now. At the very least. So it's not like we have control over it. Because if we literally were finding like good guys and stuff like that, not to say good men aren't out there, but if we were meeting them, then yeah, of course I would be. Exactly. So I feel away because it's like we don't have any control over it. You're over here pressuring me to do something you don't even know if I want to do. Like you don't know. Well, my mom knows I want to be married, but you don't know if I want to have kids. You don't know if I want to do this. So when other people outside of people, especially even let's say your parents, are saying like, well, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna mind your business?
Literally. Like that is, and I'll ask that.
Literally.
I will say that because honestly, I feel like in those things you kind of have to meet it with a little bit of rudeness.
You do.
Because that's very rude to even say to somebody because. What if that's something that bothers you at night?
Exactly.
And you're over here like, we already have our own minds to deal with. If we want to have kids or we want to get married, we already know we ain't there yet.
Exactly.
I don't need anybody else to put it on me to now make it seem like it's a problem.
Exactly. And you don't even know if it is a problem. Like, what if a woman is actually fighting fertility issues and you're over here asking her, when is she going to have a baby? Literally. So why are you doing that? That's not really your place to say that. So like if the person is telling you like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have a baby, like da da da, and they're expressing that to you and you're asking them, okay, so when do you want to have a baby? Like, and they're married or whatever, cool. But it really just be your own family sometimes or just random strangers like, oh, you're 30? Like, so when do you plan on getting married? When do you plan on having a kid? What?
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned it because I won't say the provider, but just in case they see this. But I went to I had a service recently, like since I turned 30, and this was like I think my first visit with the person, and they were like, you know, just casual conversation, like how old are you, whatever. When I said I was 30, she was like, do you have any kids? So I'm like, no, not yet. She literally was like, what are you waiting on? You just need to find a man and have a kid. Like,
it's like what?
You can take care of, like, if things go wrong, you can fix it. You can take care of it. And this was a grown woman. Like, this woman could be my mom. Exactly. And this was a stranger. Like, I was there for a service.
Like, come on.
So for me to be walking into a random place I've never been before with a person I've never seen before, and just because I say I'm 30 and I want kids, to make a statement like that, that kind of makes it seem like you're nothing without children.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. And me and my friend Nadia, we talk about this all the time. Like, society, especially, and women have held this up too, basically tries to put married women on a hierarchy and makes it seem like single women, they have nothing going for themselves, or they're worthless if they don't have kids, or they're not married. Like, oh, what are you doing if you're not married and you don't have kids, like, type of thing. Like, or like certain married women, not all, but certain married women will be like, oh, because you know I'm married, my husband this, my husband that, like, will throw that card in your face. And I'm just like, that's not the end all be all, at least not for me.
Like, it's definitely a high goal. Right. It's not to the point where your self-worth is tied to it.
It's tied to that.
Especially because We're not getting on our knees. So
Exactly. Literally.
even if we did find the love of our lives,
Okay.
we gotta be the love of their lives.
Okay.
And even when we are, if it ain't right, it's still not gonna go anywhere. So I just feel like, I just feel like people need to, what's going on with me? People need to mind their own business.
Correct.
Especially because a lot of the people who had kids when we were, not having kids and doing things to secure our future, those people were not prepared for kids at that time.
Correct.
So we weren't prepared for kids at that time, and now we're living our life. When we have kids, if and when that happens, our kids will be taken care of. They will have stable parents.
Right.
Who have careers, who have stability, because that's important.
Because that's super important.
So,
agreed.
Definitely not with the, random baby mamas.
Okay, random baby daddies. Like, no.
I need a husband. Baby daddy don't even sound right. Alright, so kind of going into the societal pressures, I think this would be a good time to kind of transition and talk about just the overall pressures that we've dealt with as Caribbean Americans. Because if you don't know, I am Jamaican. I was the first of my family to be born in America, so I'm a first generation Jamaican American. And Fabo is Haitian and Bahamian.
Yeah.
She's also a first generation American. So with that, number one, our parents did not even grow up in America.
Right.
Our parents don't know nothing about the American system. They moved here as an adult, and they had us. And with that comes the challenge of being the first of many.
Literally.
Many. So, something that we've never really probably discussed on our channel so far is the fact that we actually wanted to do content creation since, I don't know if it was high school or college, but it was way back.
It was way back.
At least 10 years ago.
College. Yeah,
At least 10 years ago. At least by 2014, we knew we wanted to do content creation.
Guys in college, me and Rochelle would be like, we need to do YouTube. We're gonna do YouTube. Like literally, we would be like, we should do the tags. This is when YouTube used to do like the tags and the pranks and the challenges.
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
And dead ass, we were like, oh my gosh, we need to do this, and we were just like, we should do YouTube.
I wanted to do YouTube so bad.
Years ago, y'all.
So
10
bad.
years ago. Literally 10 years ago.
So you know where we would have been if we were doing content creation 10 years ago? Who knows where we could have been? Just think about your favorite YouTubers that you probably were watching 10 years ago, where they are today, if they're still around.
Right.
So it's just crazy, but that kind of goes into, one, it's a society thing in general, because I feel like back then YouTube wasn't
a career.
It was a career.
Like started.
Yeah, we're not saying that it wasn't a career for the people who were doing those things, but as an overall, it wasn't looked at by the population.
Right, like what it is today.
Yeah.
Like being a content creator wasn't like what it was in 2014, 2015.
And honestly, I don't even know if we knew that they
were getting identified as influencers.
Were they even getting money though?
That's what I mean. It wasn't the same thing. It wasn't a job like that. Like that's why you'll even hear some of your favorite content creators or YouTubers from yesteryear who will say like, we weren't even getting paid back then, or I just used to do YouTube for fun. And it really was for fun.
And it was back then that we wanted to do it. When it was just for
fun. Literally.
We loved YouTube. That's all I used to watch.
We used to watch it all the time.
I don't even think I watched TV.
I barely watched TV.
Like, I watched a few things. Like in college, I started watching Love and Hip Hop because who wasn't? But like, if it wasn't like a specific show, I never watched TV. I only watched YouTube, hair tutorials.
Literally.
I didn't know what was so interesting about those things, but it just had me hooked. I could watch tutorials all day, story times,
literally,
heck, a few mukbangs,
literally,
all the things. I don't know if mukbangs was that long ago, but they were long enough ago. Just know we've been watching YouTube
forever,
high school,
literally,
and we knew we wanted to do it. It could have been high school, but if it wasn't at the latest 2013, 2014, and here we are 10 years
10 years later,
finally going after what we wanted to go to. But I think that specifically kind of personally lends into the fact that we're Caribbean.
Correct. Because like growing up, our family is like, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be this, you're going to be in healthcare, you're going to do something that makes money.
Right.
That you're going to be solidified, that you're always going to be able to take care of yourself and sustain yourself, which I think is different from a lot of my friends who are just American, like African American or even, you know, white American. Their family is just like, do something that you know, like you love, that you're passionate about, and you know, they could go to college and do, if they want to do like sociology, if they want to do art, if they want to do communications. But it was like, you're going to go to school to be a doctor. That's what you need to go to school for, point blank period.
Literally. Essentially, we're saying we did not choose our careers. We didn't even choose our majors. Maybe we were the ones that physically put those choices down, but we did not have a choice.
So,
we were told.
Yeah, we were told.
You had a choice of what you want to do within it, but you know you're going into medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even given the option to be a lawyer, and that's a high career too.
Mm-hmm.
All I ever heard my parents say was doctor or nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started college, my major was, really my major was chemistry. That was short-lived, maybe a couple of days. I switched my major, so you could say essentially I started college with a biology major. But I hated it. I liked biology and I liked certain science, but the chemistry, I wouldn't say there was excessive chemistry.
It's a lot of chemistry. Yeah, chemistry major was crazy.
No, in the biology major. I don't know how excessive it is.
I don't think it's excessive, but it's a lot.
It was too much for me. I made it, my freshman year was all right. My sophomore year, I had to get out of there. It was not it for me. And even with that, when I remember I initially talked to my mom, or I was getting ready to let my mom know that I was going to switch my majors. And instantly, I knew, without even being prompted, but I feel like it was basically I was. I knew, all right, I had to go to my mom and be like, I'm not going to be a doctor anymore. I'm going to switch to nursing. And sure enough, when I called her, she was like, all right, so what, you going to switch your major to nursing? So there really wasn't a choice. And honestly, while we don't necessarily agree with that, we do understand.
Right.
Because America is land of opportunity, but from our parents' perspective, I'm sure it's a thing of, we're coming here to give you a better life.
Right.
We want you to get a career where you will always be needed. Doctors are always needed. That's things that my mom would say. Doctors are always needed. You'll always have a job.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily that they were pushing us to be unhappy. They were pushing us to be secure.
To be secure.
Yeah, make sure we have a secure future.
Right. So, I liked my major. I'm not going to hold you. I liked my major.
What was your major?
Health sciences.
Oh.
So it was a science major, but it was geared towards people who wanted to end up going to a a professional program.
Right.
So medicine, dentistry, whatever. So I liked it, but I definitely agree that I never opened my eyes to anything else because nothing else was really an option and I knew it. At the end of the day, it's not like I knew if I didn't graduate with something that was going to hold it down, I would literally be back in the same position of if I never went to college to begin with. I would have been literally working at a call center. Just no shade or no tea, because I worked at a call center in college and before I left to go to college. But I'm just saying, I would have been in the same position because there's so many people now with bachelor degrees, 4-year degrees, and they are literally in the same position of if they never went to college.
And that's obviously horrible.
Yeah, and it's bad because, again, we were taught growing up, you go to college, you're going to be okay. You're going to have a career, you're going to be able to do better than the average, quote unquote, person. But now,
with a high school degree.
Exactly. But now, a high school degree and a bachelor's is almost the same in America.
It is the same unless you get a certain type of degree.
Right. So if you're not doing nursing, engineering, teacher.
Yeah. Because even with me, I didn't need a specific major.
Right.
I just needed a major.
Right.
So thankfully. But yeah, most of these majors, if you're not going to, first of all, half of them are just nonsense in general.
Literally.
But for a lot of them, it's not that they're useless, but they're useless at the bachelor level.
Correct.
So, like for instance, my major was psychology.
Right.
But at the time, I thought, well, originally I told y'all that I had switched to nursing. So to make a very long story short, I always had psychology as my minor because that was something that was an actual interest to me. So that was kind of my way of getting in what I wanted to get in out of my college experience. But then when I switched to nursing and I realized I didn't like that either, I was in a bit of a pickle because, as Fable said, I never thought about another career. Like, it was just doctor, not even nursing. I just knew that was a fallback. So when I decided not to be a nurse, I switched my minor to my major, so that I could just get a college degree, honestly. I mean, not get a college degree, but timely get a college degree. And I liked psychology, so my thought process was that I was going to go and be a psychologist.
Yeah.
But for me to do that, I would have had to at least get my master's.
Right.
And if I really wanted to do it, I'd have to like get my PhD if I wanted to do it big. So,
another technical.
So yeah, should we just leave it like this?
Probably, I guess.
I can
What
plug
about
it
this
in.
side, y'all?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
we can.
All right, guys. It's but yeah. So I guess we could just close this out real quick. But yeah, I just kind of feel like
Follow your dreams.
follow your dreams because at the end of the day, here we are now,
10 years later.
10 plus years later, because we don't even know when it was. We just know it was at least by 2014. At least 10 plus years later, here we are starting the things that we knew we wanted to do
10 years ago.
Yeah, when we were babies, when we had no peers in the world, we had no responsibilities.
Literally.
That was the best time for us to do it, but we let fear and what other people have to say about things, we let them get in the way. So that is definitely what we have to say about that.
So definitely, like, just go for your dreams. Do what you want to do. Forget what everybody else is saying, thinking. And that's been a big thing for me because, as you can ask Rochelle, I'm like a close friends girly. Like, I literally would put everything in close friends, or even when I was on Twitter, I would put everything in. What was the close thing for Twitter?
I don't know. I didn't have Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I deleted mine a long time ago.
So there was like the close friends for Twitter. I forgot what it's called. I used to put everything, like a lot of stuff in there. So I'm just like a close friends girly. And then I realized, like, I just have to put myself out there and forget what anybody else is like saying or thinking, and just go for what I really want. So if you really want to do something, just do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do, because honestly, procrastination is definitely the the thief of joy. And when you think about it, it's pretty safe to say that with everything in life, the longer you wait, the harder it will be. When it comes to school and different careers, with time, the requirements get higher, the curriculum gets harder.
True.
With content creation, when we wanted to do it, I don't even know if we knew we could make money from it or what the case is. We wanted to just do it for a passion, for a fun. And I feel like back then, that's what it was about.
Exactly.
So it would have probably been easier to create a community. But
now
now everybody's doing content creation, so we have to fight against, you know, just
the algorithm. Because before it wasn't necessarily algorithms. You would literally just stumble on your favorite YouTuber or Instagram person just because you stumbled upon them and you decided, let me subscribe or follow. Like, you started to see their videos. Now you're battling the algorithm to even get someone to see your video.
And then your video could be good, but you need to have the quality of the next person.
Exactly. Before, the quality didn't even have to be that great. They were shooting on their iPhones, okay?
Girl, if not an Android.
Okay? People were shooting on their iPhone 5s, okay? And it was fine.
Yeah.
So definitely, just go for it when you want to do it. And that's something that we learned, and it's just a lesson that needed to be learned, which is fine, because I feel like now we're just going to be even better. We have the capacity to have our cameras and our lights and shoot.
We can afford it now.
Right, so, you know, so it's just something, it's all about God's timing too.
Honestly.
Like, to be true. So
there's a reason why we didn't do it then.
Yeah. So if God wanted it to be right now, that's when it is. It's right now. So
hindsight is 50-50, but
literally
definitely
everything on God's timing. So there's that.
Yeah. Moral of the story: go after what you want, and everything else will take care of itself.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so with that, you know, basically, because we didn't follow what we want, now we have those careers. And because we're doing this content creation, on one hand, it makes it easier as far as we can afford the things that we like to do.
Right.
As far as like, you'll notice from our channels, we have a lot of travel content. We travel
a lot.
A lot. Every year. Literally. Every quarter.
Honestly and truly.
So, Fable's like every week.
Right.
So, obviously, we need the money.
Okay.
Yes. So, on that hand of things, it is
definitely
easier. And because we have careers, we're not fighting for, like, this is not end all be all. We don't need this money to survive. So, we're able to kind of like.
And you know this has to be for fun because we have serious jobs, okay?
Very serious
jobs, and we literally like create content, record, edit. So it's still like a passion for us because we honestly could have been like, oh, we're not getting the views, we're not getting the subscribers, we're not getting the likes, forget it. We're out of here. So yeah.
But I just told myself, like, at this point in time, like, I already waited forever. Because even, it's so crazy. This was a dream of ours. Even if we would have started during COVID, the idea came back to me during COVID. And I was so scared. It came back to me many times. But COVID was the perfect time for us to really jump back into it. And we didn't. So, I mean, it is God timing, but we have these serious jobs, like she said, guys. So it does make things challenging because we, you know, and there's no shade, no tea. But all jobs are not created equally. Some people's jobs are physically taxing. Some are mentally. Everybody has their own things. Unfortunately, I'll speak for me. With my career, I can't leave the work when I go home. So whatever I leave has to be picked up the next day. So for me, it is a challenge because sometimes I'm just battling against what am I gonna work on? Like sometimes on the weekends, unfortunately, I got stuff to do for work that I might not have done, but I gotta do this. Or not even on the weekends, because I don't really work weekends like that, but like the evenings, for instance. If I have a long work day and I have stuff that I need to do, sometimes the YouTube will be falling by the wayside, even though this is the true passion. Because I do have a career and I do have to make sure that that's in order because that is what takes care of me. At the end of the day, like, ideally, content creation would be the end goal, but it's just a challenge when you kind of have to balance. I feel like we're Hannah Montana, girl.
No, seriously. Having a 9 to 5 and also trying to do content creation. Yes, like, one thing I will say is content creation is a job. Like, I would give it to people who are saying, like, it's more than what people see. Because even setting this up, honey, was a lot. But definitely, I still feel like our actual jobs are more mentally taxing. And so to do, like, a mentally taxing job during the day, let's say 9 to 5, let's quantify the hours, and then in the evening and nighttime have to do another job, so to speak.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So it's like you literally feel like you're working all day. So if I'm like going on vacation, I'm recording the entire time. I come back from vacation, I have to work my job again because I was just off for holidays. And then I have to come and edit this vlog and do this, but also I'm still working those same days. It could be a lot. Versus now the people who are just fully content creating, that's all they have to do all day, every day.
So, I mean, it is a job. So, technically, we have 2 full-time jobs
at this point.
And it is a lot.
It is.
I think what keeps us going is just the fact that we really want to do this. And we procrastinated long enough. It's now or never.
We really did.
It's now or never.
We really, really did. So yeah, so you know, if you have any tips, if you're someone who is doing 9 to 5 but also like pursuing content creation and you have like any tips or anything, definitely leave it in the comments.
Yes.
Let us know your tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So,
and at the
100%.
same time, if you are somebody that does want to do content creation and you feel like you work a 9 to 5 or you have a career, so it's something that you can't do, drop down and leave us some questions, because we definitely can talk about it.
Okay.
Because we have careers.
Literally.
Okay? Careers. It's a lot.
Okay. So
It's a
yeah, for sure. So
we have careers and we're in demanding fields.
Yes.
She's in the medical field and I'm in the legal field.
Right.
So we're definitely not just, you know, I don't even know.
Literally. Like, we're already stressed out every day, basically.
Every day.
Every single day. So there's that. But yeah, so just let us know. Really what we wanted to like discuss and talk about. Basically, you know, we're starting our YouTube channels and also our TikToks. We are heavy on TikTok too.
Yes, follow us over on TikTok. It is our same handles, right?
Right, yeah.
Katie and Dion, and
Right.
Doses of Show.
Right.
You could even follow us over on Instagram. We're not really heavy on Instagram yet, but we do have profiles, so you can definitely come and check us out. But yeah, this was our first chit chat. I don't even know if you could call, it's a girl chat, chit chat,
mukbang, all
a
of
little bit of
that.
everything. Adult chat, you know.
Right.
And yeah, if you guys like this video, definitely let us know, because we can do more of these if this is something that you guys are interested in.
Yeah, let's cheers to our first. So cheers to our first
chit chat
mukbang. Cheers to you
Cheers,
guys.
guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
And thumbs up the video.